welcome back. To Broad's League Heroes. Well, unranked, actually. We have Skittlenips prioritizing his politeness over his making any SCVs. I mean, it's a respectable move, but not an effective one, as he's going for the depot first. On the other side, we have Jensux. Somebody's had a bad relationship with Jennifer in the past. Making his depot with the very back out of the way, and actually building SCVs. Alright, dozens of APM as these players really ramp up their macro. Oh, there we go! Oh, here we go. Now let the game begin. Skittlenips actually the first to lay down a Rex. Looks like it's going to be a Command Center first out of Jensux. So that's a bold move to kick things off. Skittlenips, on the other hand, going for the safer barracks. He's got a gas, and he's 1/3 of the way to mining from it. Jensux with some intense SCV micro around the base. Gonna have an idea of everything Skittlenips is doing as he sneaks the SCV into the corner, never to be seen again. The engineering bay, a classic choice at the 1 minute and 30-second mark, as Skittlenips is going out to the bottom right corner for one of the most classic, just an absolute, really a staple of Bronze League Heroes. An engineering bay into hidden base. The orbital is on the way. He almost hasn't. No, he's gonna move a little further. He's not going directly to the corner. That's too obvious. The SCV stands. Well, I guess stands is a strong word, but no. Skittlenips never forgets. He knows that SCV is in here. It never left. He's gonna hunt it down and he's going to kill it. Oh, that's Skittlenips. He's getting kind of close. He's got enough minerals for a command center. It looks like he just took a very, very long route to get a scout. There are 4 SCVs coming off the line for the catch. Oh, the chase is on. How did he even know? Why were they even there? Nobody knows. But 4 on 1. The first Marine is on the way. The rest of the SCVs on the chase. Everybody, oh no! He broke his ankles. He went down to tie his shoe and he was stabbed in the back by a couple dozen SCVs. Skittlenips can't catch a break after the revenge on that SCV in the main. +1 attack going to come out. All 6 of his Marines will have that damage upgrade and an expansion for either side. Jensux still with no orbital, going for the first gas. Skittlenips moving his Marines into position on the high ground. We've reached nearly 1 action per second from these players. Skittlenips mining with 3 in gas. Unfortunately, he has 2 gases, which is half as much. Oh wait, Jensux has this gas on the low ground. Nobody convinced that actually mining with 3 out of 3 is the best way to go. Okay. Now, I usually don't do this.
Will be rewarded.
Thank you, Aranesium. 2 months, welcome back. I usually don't do this in the middle of a cast, but I think now is the time, as we're ramping up, to actually call someone out in the chat. And since you've been a subscriber for a while, I feel like I'll do this instead of just banning you. But Sean2301, every single time I see you in chat, it doesn't take long before I look and say, you're a dick. You're being a dick. Don't be a dick. Why? Just try. Just try a little bit. It's very consistent, too. So don't be a dick. It's against the rules. But let's see. The double engineering bay coming up. +1 is now done for all 6 of these Marines. Timed out well. The armory is done. It looks like we're at the point where neither of these players will be attacking for several minutes. It is 2v2. We're gonna speed along and see what the transition is. There's gonna be +1 attack for 2 to maybe 3 tanks. Unfortunately, the tanks can't escape from the base because the Deepa walls them off, but he figures that out. Someone threw out a scan. Some Cyclones on the way. Jensux seems a little bit more accomplished in actually the making units department. But there are tanks, and we know how tanks get in TVT. The very forward sensor tower. Only 200 HP. The scan comes out. He sees him moving out. But is this the strike force going into tanks? If these tanks are on siege, though. The Cyclones come up first. The tanks will siege on the high ground. If the Cyclones are able to take him out, but no big damage coming out. He has some Marines. They do not have stim +1 or combat shields. The tank's doing terrible, terrible damage to these Marines. He's trying to go up the ramp. Beautiful micro by Skittlenips. He's going to keep both tanks alive, it looks like, and all the Marines going to be obliterated. Beautiful micro from Skittlenips. Less supply, less units, but the efficiency off the charts. He only lost 8 units. He lost 4 times less than Jensux. They're both almost equal on the actions. They're 53 to 53 actions per minute. But who's going to use it more efficiently? Jensux, once again, investing in that macro, but maybe just a little bit of micro would help. Just a little bit. Whereas on the other side, Skittlenips with good micro, but just a little bit more macro. And that could make the difference. But it's working out for him so far. We're going to have a Cyclone Marine drop loaded up. Will it be sent out? That's anyone's guess. It looks like this SCV has a lot of work ahead of it. Nope, the drop is just to keep these units warm and cozy. So when the scan comes out, it looks like you have less units. An incredible tactical play. But the sensor tower coverage is good. He's got beautiful, beautiful sensor towers that cover everything but the very edges of the map where a drop would come out. That sensor tower flank going to be in position, but will he react? Jensux. At 101 supply. Does he have any upgrades? He does have 1-1. +1. 1-1 for mech is actually going to be done for Skittlenips. As we sit back, we're at that stage of the game. The scan comes out. Skittlenips third is scouted. Another scan. Wait, who scanned now? The counter scan. The classic scan counter scan meta in Bronze League Heroes is real. Skittlenips slipping around the back. Does he see the base? He does. Oh, just in time. Will he be able to get the cancel or maybe even the kill? No stim on anyone's Marines, no combat shields, but upgrades are on the way. Jensux going for 2-2. The army moving out, but not to save his command center. He's decided that is the final straw. We must attack. And Jensux is up. He has 80 to 46 army supply. There are a couple tanks. 11 and 7 kills from that first engage. But the tanks are all moving. Well, the units are all moving to the right side. It appears that Jensux does not know how to make tanks. Instead, like Cyclones more. But the rest of the units coming up, the tanks will still be able to protect, but that might just be too many Marines. The damage, he's targeting the command center. The units are coming up, the tanks are doing terrible, terrible damage. The massive chunks, but I think the numbers are just too high. The drop in the back at the same time. Oh, he didn't kill the tank! Skittlenips unsieges. He retreats beautifully. He's drawing all the units in. The tank's doing so much damage. At the same time, the drop at the back. He's targeting down the command center. Skittlenips, once again, taking a massive toll with his siege tanks, but still down on supply. The drop at the back. The worker count, 35 to 44, but that could change sides very soon. Jensux with no reaction to his entire mineral line being obliterated. That's going to even out the worker count. And the hot cyclone on cyclone action. As they're both up to 1 action per second. 60 APM. Oh, the tanks, the vision, the Marines obliterated. Everything taken out by the tanks on the high ground. The cost efficiency is incredible. Oh, another Viking being taken out, but Jensux maintains that stronger production. The medevac comes home. It's work done. Happy with what it's done here today. Another drop being loaded up. Another cyclone drop. I don't know where he got another cyclone from. I mean, obviously from the factory, but still. Skittlenips supply blocked hard at 78 supply. Jensux gonna try again for a 4th base. He's got money in the bank. He's desperately trying to spend it. With another drop coming out, he could just kill the sensor tower. These units are moving into position. This time, he will be ready. The medevac shot down. Died with all hands. The Cyclone Marine. He does have 2-2 for his Marines, but no combat shield, no stim. Skittlenips scrambling forward. The supplies are pretty even, and we've seen that cost efficiency at play. Over double the units lost here for Jensux, but he's built over double the units as well. +3 mech weapons and +2 mech plating, and then +1 ship weapons, all queued up at the armory. The armory's got a lot of time, a lot of work to do. SCV's being transferred under the cover of the sensor tower. The 4th base has been taken. He has rebuilt a lot of SCVs, actually. But Skittlenips, unfortunately, he's contracted the cyclone disease, and he only seems to be making cyclones instead of siege tanks. The siege tanks have definitely been more effective than cyclones in this match, which is why he has 3 more queued up. A scan comes out from which side? Jensux with the scan on the 4th. Is that a counter scan?
Armed and ready.
I can't tell where all these scans are going. Anyways. They're both struggling forward. Jensux with money in the bank. Skittlenips with less. There aren't really any tanks. He's built cyclones, and he's upgraded the cyclones, which is incredibly effective, but his Marines, not going to be so much. There are Banshees. The Banshees do not have cloak. There are no upgrades besides basic unit upgrades. So the Vikings can shoot them down. The tanks are not in position here to defend this base. Jensux has the opportunity to move forward. If the tanks were here, this might be a different story. But the army's moving forward. I don't think the cyclone upgrades are going to be enough to save him from these numbers. The attack comes in again. The Vikings doing their best. The Cyclones doing a very good job, but not good enough. The Vikings actually taking a lot. All the Banshees look like. No, he drops them down at the last second so they can be killed for free. Skittlenips will be losing this base. Jensux retreats, knowing when to cut his losses. Will Skittlenips have the time to respond? He's got +3 mech weapons, but he's down 60 supply. It could still go either way. There are still siege tanks with insane upgrades. He has 3-1 going on 3-2 for the tanks. Lots of Cyclones as well. If those tanks are sieged up, these Marines, no matter how much armor they have, it's not going to be enough. But what is the play? Skittlenips once again suffering from the not building enough units syndrome. We've got a double marine drop ready here. More Vikings on the way on 2 starports. May I notify you, Skittlenips, of the reactor that exists, but another base. He's going to try a different location. Jensux is approaching a maxed out army, almost 200 supply. Oh yeah, EPM is a thing. Not that. Oh. Where's the button for that? Oh. Effective actions per minute is what that means. Actions that aren't just doing the same thing 50 times very quickly. I don't know who's scanning who right now. Oh. Jensux scans forward, sees the way is clear. He's nearly maxed out. It's time to attack. There's an SCV, either intentionally or unintentionally, going to see this early on. These are +3 siege tanks. They do 52 damage and splash. That is enough to one-shot these Marines. They don't have enough armor. +2 armor is not going to save you from that. If they had combat shields, they'd survive. But these tanks will one-shot the Marines. It won't take many hits to kill the clones either. Oh god, this could be terrible. He's going to come down there. Oh my god. It's the meat grinder. As he tries to come down, he's trying to micro to the tanks, but he can't get close. The Banshees are actually doing a very good job. A couple Vikings come in. All the tanks are taken out, but he's still trying to micro. More Vikings on the way. Skittlenips is holding. But at what cost? A handful of Marines survive. There's another 1 tank, 3 Marine drop on the other side. It looks like Skittlenips lives by that much. Once again, the cost effectiveness of Skittlenips' army. The tank is taken out. I'm not sure what actually killed it there. There's another drop on the side. Another tank Marine drop. More SCVs are going down. Skittlenips doing what he needs to do on the other side. The supplies are somehow almost even. SCVs accepting their fate. It's 64-64 supply. Skittlenips, for the first time in most of this game, looks like he's going to take the lead. The tank being targeted by the Banshees. It looks like they should take it out. But the cost effectiveness. Once again, Jensux has money in the bank, so he can rebuild. The worker count is dead even, 34-34. If only Skittlenips knew to make just a few more units. Or if either player had combat shields, things could change. But you gotta start somewhere. Skittlenips, who sent this in, so that's a little bit of a spoiler, says this is his first 1v1. That means he may have played some team games or arcades or something like that. Or he may have just watched some of the best guides out there. Incredible guides, very smart guides. I don't know where you'd find them, but great guides. But is holding the line despite a lack of production. Or he played StarCraft. Oh, he played StarCraft 1. That might do it too. 20 years ago. But another drop going out. Once again, Jensux has rebuilt. We're going for, what is this, round 4 now? As the drops come out, they do damage. The defense, it barely holds. But Jensux is once again back in production. This drop. Unfortunately, Jensux moving out of position at the worst possible time. He doesn't have sensor tower coverage. This could be a disaster if the medevac drops out. No, he's coming back. He sees it. The Marine's on the way out. He's coming for the drop. He might get 1 SCV. But then, the Banshees and the medevac itself is taken down. Cleaned up. And Jensux once again spirals ahead to a 50 supply lead. These tanks have 3-2. There are enough Vikings to shoot down the Banshees. There's still no cloak for the Banshees. +1 ship weapons on either side. Skittlenips losing almost about half the units that Jensux has lost. Remember, these Marines are still going to be blasted apart by a single arc light cannon siege tank shot. Well, actually, it's Crucio shot cannon. Never mind, that sounds even cooler. But, Blade Skittlenips moving out of position. He doesn't have a sensor tower. He sees it now. Unfortunately, the tanks on the high ground, from the back, rather. The Banshees doing their best. He's not targeting the tanks. The Marines looping around. That might be the last thing they ever do, trying to target fire a tank down. He will lose all of his units, but somehow still be ahead in supply. Skittlenips may be inspired with the first real resounding victory to attack, and maybe, just maybe, attain victory. As we see, 137 to 298 units lost. Another wave comes out from Jensux. The tanks are not sieged. The tanks do siege. These Marines are gone. The Viking count isn't there. Skittlenips back in the supply lead. And Jensux gonna tap it out. Just couldn't put together. He finally figured out how to build siege tanks, too. He had siege tanks for the first time this game. But it was too late. Brutal Rambo. So in the military, we use the following debrief method. 3 things you did right, 3 things that could use improvement, and then 1 more big picture positive. I gave mine to Skittles, your input. Your drops were okay, at good timings. Your siege tag placement and basic micro was good. So drops were good. Your upgrades were good, though they could be more efficient. They were good. They could be better, but they were good. And your basic micro was good, like drawing things into siege tanks. Your macro was really bad. You need to just build more buildings, okay? Just build, like, if you have more than 40 SCVs, or more than 40 SCVs, which you should try to get. Well, here's another one. One of the worst things, not building SCVs. How many did you lose? You lost 17. So you only built a total of 56 this game. You need to get 50 SCVs by 8 minutes. That's a baseline. Check my final APM, 69. Oh, that's... but also have at least 5 production facilities at 50 SCVs. You have like 1.5. You technically have 5, but combat shields as well is a big one. So building SCVs, building production facilities is what you need to do. And honestly, those are really big things. Also using add-ons. That's a smaller one. And what is it? The one big positive? You seem to have an idea of what you want to do. The positive is the actual game plan. Building tanks and marines, doing drops, getting air control. It's there. It's kind of like a 3-year-old finger painting a landscape. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but you get what they're going for. So, did he ever hotkey his production? Good catch. Good catch. Hotkey your production. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, you didn't hotkey your production. You need to hotkey your production. I put it on 5 and use tab. Let me show you. This is what I use for my production. Okay, so I control click. Let's just say you just started. Control 5. Control click the barracks. Control 5. Select a factory. Shift 5. Another factory. Shift 5. As we get done lagging, eventually, or never. All right, so control click barracks. No, we're not done. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Oh, we're still not done. It's like, oh, I'm about to actually be productive and explain a point. Fuck you, get the fuck out of here. All right. Control click, control 5. Select a factory, shift 5. Another factory, shift 5. This adds to your control group. Starport, shift 5. Shift 5. Now, obviously, you'd want to have more production facilities. But now, here's how I do my production. No, we're not done yet.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Next control slide, please.
I see it. I can see it. Of course. Like, this might just be confirmation bias, but it only seems to happen when I'm doing something that's actually, like, a very positive part, like one of the best parts of the stream. It's like I'll be doing a sick cast or something, and we get up to a fight, and then fuck you. I'm about to explain an incredibly important point about the basics of Terran production. Fuck you. I'm going on a monologue about how to improve in StarCraft 2. Fuck you. I'm AFK, away from my chair. We're good, baby. I don't know. So anyways, now that I've got all my production on one hotkey, what I do is I'm hitting the hotkey for Marines. A. Tab. Tab selects the next group. Now this works for units too. Tab selects the next selection group. I tab to my factories. So siege tanks. You should have another tech lab. Or Hellions, and I'm pressing the siege tank or Hellion button. And then tab one more time. And then build Vikings or whatever. So you can use tab to go through it. And you just get into that rhythm.